Kickin Tires, brought to you by Grand Prairie Subaru.
Welcome back to a brand new episode of Kickin Tires. I'm your host, Danny Sims, and today we're with our good friend Dale from the GP Auto Group, Chrysler division again, and behind us we have the Durango. So before we get into too much of the good stuff, tell us about the boring stuff. What does the truck have for options and features and things of that nature?
All right, so what you got with the 2018 Dodge Durango SRT is you got the two DVD system in the back row, which comes out of just below the headrest. Also with that though, you could attach a gaming system, you know, your PlayStations, your Xbox, so the kids have a little bit more extra entertainment as they're going along. Up front, we got the 8.1 inch screen. You can use a lot of hands-free features then. So with the hands-free features, you just press the voice recognition and you can go through your tuning of your radio stations. You can go through setting your temperatures of your heating, air conditioning and such like that. And the big feature that I love the most with their voice recognition is being able to tell your navigation where you want to go, select your destination, and go.
I really like that because I don't do well with technology, and the more I can talk, the better. So less touchy for me is a good thing. Well, one of my favorite features, and it pretty much goes in every vehicle, is the heated and cooled seat. It's really hot out today. It's windy, but it's hot out today. I had the seats blasted. I had the air conditioning blasted on the way over here. It was phenomenal.
It's a really nice feature. Like, you know, like for yourself today, you're wearing shorts. Hey, you don't want to get in there. First thing you're going to do is sit down and burn the back of your legs on that seat. You don't want that. And the nice thing about this, the features that this vehicle has, is with the remote start. If you want to remote start your vehicle, plus 25 and above, your cooled seats are going to come on. So you can already get that seat nice and chilled for you, so you can sit down and not go yippee-yi-yay as you're burning your leg.
Well, I do love the SRT on anything, just because it means more fun. It's the fun factor for me. But the seats in this truck are really, I call it a truck. The seats in this truck are really nice. They've got great lumbar support. I usually have a hard time getting comfortable because I'm so long through the body, but they fit me perfect. I don't know how they'd be with somebody shorter, but for the first time, they fit a tall person. It's great. Great lumbar support, and you did mention the suede insets on them. I really prefer that over the leather because the leather does get rather hot sitting in the sun.
Oh yeah, especially you don't want to burn your legs.
So the seating configuration on this truck is really nice because it's got the two buckets up front, the two buckets in the middle row, and the back looks like two, maybe even three for the kids.
Yeah, you can fit a third person in there. They're a little bit on the smaller side, but yeah, you know, and it's nice and easy. All you got to do to get into the back row is just fold down the seat, flip it up, you hop back there.
Other features for the truck. I mean, obviously we're going to have power windows, power locks, air cruise tilt, things of that nature. But let's switch over to the safety side. What are we going to have for this? Does it have the lane departure?
Yeah, you got your lane departure, you got your adaptive cruise control with the little radar detector in the front, which is a really cool feature because you can be going down the highway. Basically, the car will almost drive itself. Don't ever take your hands off the wheel, of course, but you'll be able to stay within your lanes. Not get too far. The guy in front of you will stay far enough away that you're not going to be coming up their rear end and, you know, and causing an accident. And another nice feature that I love about our adaptive cruise control is that it will actually temper our brake lights in the back. So when you do have to slow down, your back lights will light up so the person behind you knows that you're about to slow down.
Yeah, that was always fun when you were a kid in a manual transmission. You could play with the guy behind you. So, you know, safety first, I suppose.
Safety first. We got a little bit smarter in our age as we get a little bit older.
Now, to the fun stuff, what I love about vehicles. Great big tires on this, great big rotors, great big brakes, and a big old engine.
Big old engine with 475 horsepower.
470 foot-pounds of torque.
470 foot-pounds of torque, and that's going to be pulling this 5,600-pound truck. That's a lot of fun.
And we're talking 0 to 60 times in a big vehicle like this.
About 4.4 seconds is what
4.4, 4.5, yeah. And it is 5,600 pounds.
Yeah.
That's like a Camaro and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the Dodge just ate the Camaro.
Well, it's an all-wheel drive, so I got to play a little bit on the way over here. We never like to do anything crazy because we're in the streets, but out here is where I really, really enjoy the test drive. And it doesn't matter what it is, because we've had little itty-bitty cars out here to monster horsepower to big things like this, and it's just fun to see what it's capable of. And an all-wheel drive platform with some power like that, nothing but smiles on the afternoon, I think.
Just time to enjoy it.
That's the word. Time to kick some tires.
Ready?
Yo.
Hey, hold on, it gets a little rough. Shift on this dual clutch transmission is like milliseconds. 1.6 milliseconds. Yeah. I love that quick snap and the little fart in the exhaust, and you're never even ready for it. The 2018 Dodge Durango SRT edition. I'm happy when they put a big V8 in anything, especially when it breaches 470 horsepower like this one does. We've had a few sport edition or performance edition full-size SUVs in the past. They always seem to be a little cumbersome, maybe even a little fat. While this is a big vehicle, it's set up remarkably well for the amount of power that's in here. 475 horsepower, 470 foot-pounds of torque, and you get to feel all of it instantly. It's not lazy. The transmission shifts phenomenally. Incredible. Probably my best positive or my best plus about this vehicle is just how quick and responsive this transmission is. It might just be a combination between the two, but I'm in love with how this vehicle feels and moves. It's got tons of power and handles remarkably well for a vehicle this size. It's definitely a sport model SUV. I'm in 4-cylinder mode right now, cruising around. I'm doing highway speed and burning next to nothing. There's rarely you can get a vehicle that you can smile this much in, that's this big, and still get phenomenal fuel economy. Don't get me wrong, it'll drink the fuel when you're hard on it, but you don't always need to be. And it's good to have that kind of reliability behind you. Despite the fact that it's a big vehicle, it still feels and handles like a car, and it does it very well. The fit and the finish and the refinement is right on par with everything else that Dodge has in their lineup. There isn't anything that they do cheap. It's not luxury by any stretch of the imagination, but it is very, very well put together. The electronics, the touchscreen, the instrumentation panel, positioning, everything on the steering wheel is as it should be. But there's just something about how well it fits with the rest of this vehicle. I do love the fact that you can easily sell this as a family vehicle. It's all-wheel drive. You've got that for safety on your side. You've got 4, 5, 6, even 7 passengers in it. There is not a single thing negative to say about this vehicle. Granted, we haven't gone on a long road trip. I haven't spent 2 or 3 or 4,000 kilometers in it, and I'm sure it's got some bad habits or a few things that you might not like in gray areas, but if you're dealing with black and white, this is one solid consistent color. This is a phenomenal full-size sport SUV. If I had another thumb, I would give it 3 thumbs up. It is that well.
Grand Prairie Subaru is proud to support the car community and Kickin' Tires on Eastlink TV.
Subaru is the home of symmetrical all-wheel drive and the legendary WRX STI. True confidence in motion.
All right, welcome back to the second half of what's looking like a very big horsepower episode for you folks. Dale, what have we got behind us right now?
Okay, behind us we have the 2018 Dodge Challenger 392 Shaker Edition, Plum Crazy Purple.
I love the Plum Crazy. In fact, it doesn't matter what make, model, or brand it is. I love when they throw back to the nostalgic side and they come up with the wild colors, the oranges and yellows and even reds. I'm not a red fan, but on the right car it looks good. So, you know, hats off to you guys for that.
Well, that's the best thing that Dodge does in regards to our Challengers, is because it actually brings back the nostalgia feeling of the muscle. You know, they bring it back. They just add these cool colors. They put, you know, it's just like a cherry on top, or in this case, the plum.
The plum on top, absolutely. I like that. I might use that again in the future. So let's get down to what I call the meat and potatoes of a fun car, and that is the horsepower, the speed, the torque on it. What are we dealing with in this one? Because it's slightly different than our Durango.
Yeah, so you're looking at 485 horsepower right now. It gets you 0 to 60 in about 4.3 seconds. You got 470 pounds of torque. You got a lot of speed, a lot of horsepower, and a lot of fun.
And this one's a little lighter than our big brother we had earlier. We're sitting just under 4,500 pounds.
Yeah, 44 and some change.
So there's the half a second faster. Absolutely. So now that we got the fun stuff out of the way and I'm all amped and ready to go, dial it back a tiny bit. What does the car have in the practicality sense? Because a lot of people will still to this day look at it and say, it's big, it's bold, it's kind of obnoxious with the sound it makes. But that's not necessarily the case, because it can be a daily driver.
It can be, definitely. Like the interior wise, you got the heated and cooled seats on that suede seat. So it's just, you know, it's on a day like today, like what, we're 27 degrees outside. That suede is going to keep you nice and cool, especially with that cool seat going. And another thing that makes this a daily driver is that trunk is huge.
It's big, yes.
It's one of the biggest trunks that you can have possibly in a muscle car. You know, you and the wife, or you and the wife's kid want to go anywhere, throw the stuff in the back of the trunk, you're not going to lose any room on the inside.
So there's the best sales point. You and the wife and the kids. So get it while they're young, and then you can get something when they grow up and still keep the car for yourself.
Well, yeah, you get the toy now, get yourself ready for the toy later.
So back to some of the interior features, because I noticed, and I haven't driven this one yet, just having a look through the window, big touch screen, it's still got all the creature comforts, but it looks a little updated.
It is. It's to bring it into the 21st century now. So we got big 8.4-inch screen, touch everything on the screen. It also has the voice recognition as well, like just like the Durango did. You know, just like that feature with the navigation. You press the voice recognition, tell it where you want to go, it'll get you there. You know, take the thinking right out of driving almost.
Well, you can't take all of the thinking out of driving, because these cars are just way too much fun for that, and you still have to have some control.
Yeah, like you got your safety, you know, you got your up to 11 airbags, I believe it is, in this thing. So you're gonna have your front, your side, it's gonna come out your seat. You're gonna be protected if in case something is to go wrong.
You hear that, Mom? It's safe.
I promise you.
Trunk big enough for lots of groceries, kids in the back. You owe us one, Dad. So if you're ever wondering the difference between the Scat Pack or the Shaker Hood and the SRT8, what exactly is the difference?
Well, the biggest difference is the Shaker Hood has got the big hole in the middle of the hood to bring back again that nostalgia feeling of it. So you're gonna have, have it taken off, it's gonna start shaking a little bit, then you're gone.
And this will not have quite the same features that the SRT8 does?
No, it's gonna have a little bit different features. It's gonna have a little bit scaled back on the interior side of things, like it doesn't have your big pages wise or everything like that on the touchscreen.
Well, all of that sounds fantastic, but in traditional fashion, there's only one way to find out how good this thing is, and that's to go kick some tires.
evolution of the Challenger and the Charger, aesthetically, not a lot has changed. Under the hood, they've made some significant changes. Interior-wise, constantly evolving, constantly tweaking. Electronics looking really good this year. I love the accent on the dash. It's almost like a brushed metal versus anything reflective and shiny and chrome. Steering wheel's fantastic. Great grip. It's a good size. It's not too small. It's not too big. If you like your flappy paddles, they're right there. Everything is easily to see. I do love the 300 km/h speedometer. It's great to see that number on there, but it can be very deceiving when you think you're doing 60, because that's kind of where you're used to your speedometer to be located. You're actually doing about 120, 130, so keep that in mind. But I love that throwback that yes, the car will do 300 or 120 or 140, 160 miles an hour, and you can at least judge it on this. You don't have to vary the speedometer anymore. Traction control electronics are fantastic. I don't like the flappy paddles, so I didn't touch them again. But the upshift on the transmission is fantastic. The exhaust note is good. It's not obnoxious. I think you can get very uncomfortable with some of the vehicles we've had, have that constant rumble. Not in this case. It's very, very quiet inside, but still gives you enough that you know you're having fun just by listening. Car feels great. It sits great. I'm a long-legged guy. I still have lots of room. In fact, I don't even have the seat all the way back right now. All in all, it's very well put together. If you want a new thrill, trade your 4 or 5 or 6-year-old Challenger or Charger in and get a new one. You'll be blown away. It's like Christmas for an adult.
Grand Prairie Subaru is proud to support the car community and Kickin tires on Eastlink TV. Subaru is the home of symmetrical all-wheel drive and the legendary WRX STI. True confidence in motion.
Everything's brand new, rebuilt engine, rebuilt transmission, all new paint, re-chrome bumpers, just a typical restoration, full off resto. Yeah, getting an engine built was pretty hard at the time. Nobody wanted to do it, and I never had much money. And then the second challenge was getting the car painted. Took like 2 years before I actually got the painted. And then my last challenge was the transmission. Thought it was all good to go. Took it for a drive and blew the transmission. I've driven it once since I restored it, Beaver Lodge and back, and probably 10 times in Wembley, with neighbors not like me too much. It's a 1973 40 aluminum head, 60,000 over, and the 833A 4-speed with 8 3/4, 391 third grip. My original car I wanted to buy was a 70 or 71 Duster. I couldn't find one, so I found a Demon, pretty much an identical car. I actually like the Demon more now than before. '72 was a 1 year only. 71s were different. Well, most of the body panels were the same, some were different. And then just finding the small pieces is the hardest part of all. Small trim pieces that nobody reproduces and that usually rust out. I've got stuff from Mexico, US, here in Canada, everywhere. Kept dragging it around from Grand Prairie to a different house, to a different house, to a friend's field, to a garage, just trying to keep it. It's a 71 color, but I put it on the 72. Oh, they only made them for 2 years, 71 to 72. And 72 they made the least amount. Well, the car was originally top banana yellow, which, just plain yellow. And this is called Curious Yellow, which got a green tinge to it. and it's just brighter, like a high impact, like the Hemi Orange, like bright high impact colors. Horsepower, in the 400 range. I've never had a dyno, and you can't go by hearsay, so yeah, quite heavily modified, so I figure 400 at least. Well, I'll drive it this summer, and I don't know. I'll tinker with it over the winter, change some stuff. Some stuff that I don't like, that's, you know, not good enough, but it's okay. And then just work on something else. Don't build them over. Way too expensive. But it's worth it in the end. And never lose your patience. Takes a long time. I did most of the work myself. The only thing I didn't do, I didn't paint, and I didn't rebuild the short block of the engine. Everything else I did myself. I mean, the car probably cost me, I'd say $35,000, and that's myself. If you send it to a shop, it probably cost you 50, and then you get a car that's worth 25. Until you get it, you know, appraised. So, but yeah. The favorite thing I like about the car is the color and the paint scheme. And its original paint scheme is just optional. You know, like the side stripe is optional, the hood stripe is optional, then the scoop is optional, and the vinyl top. I mean, it all adds up. You always modify it, do something different, or break it. You know, just name of the game.
Kickin' Tires, brought to you by Grand Prairie Subaru.